Hello YouTube and welcome back to the Drunken Kobold. Today's video is sponsored in part by Little Dragon Corp. Little Dragon Corp is a Canadian gaming company based out of Brampton, Ontario. In addition to selling the regular wares of RPGs, they make a lot of their own dice as well as plushies and jewelry. The dice are absolutely beautiful. They're weighted well, they roll well, and I have absolutely no complaints about them whatsoever. The price on these dice is great, and look at these plush dice bags. They are adorable. They make a lot of their own jewelry, t-shirts as well. So I highly recommend checking them out. The price is right, and so is the quality. If you see something on the site that you like, use the Kobold discount code, Kobold, to get 5% off of your order and support the channel a little bit by giving us a little bit of a kickback. So without further ado, let's hop into the remaining of today's video. So today I would like to talk about Warlock Tiles and my current feelings towards Warlock Tiles. If you have been a long-time subscriber of the channel, you know I loved the brand. I thought it was a great brand to be an intro into terrain for RPGs, dioramas, whatever you wanted to set up with it. It was a fantastic product. It was detailed, it was high quality, easy to assemble, and yeah, no, it was a perfect product. However, lately I have become disillusioned with Warlock Tiles, and it has caused me to reconsider which tile sets I am going to be using to set up my Dungeons & Dragons terrain at the table, as well as which tile sets I am going to be using to bring the world of RuneScape to life. For those who don't know, RuneScape is actually a very massive world. Building it all in one setting would be over 250 by 150 feet. So it's not small by any stretch of the imagination. However, I don't think that Warlock Tiles is the brand to do anything large scale or, fantastical anymore. I think it is too plain and too inconsistent for that, and I will get into my reasons why. The first issue that I have had with Warlock Tiles has been long-standing pre-orders. Back in 2020, I ordered both of the Encounter in a Box sets. And for those who also ordered them or have been following, you would know those products don't exist yet. They still haven't delivered on those products. And to make matters worse, if you go to Warlock Tiles' website on the WizKids store, the Encounter in a Box products have been removed entirely. They aren't even on pre-order anymore. Let's just go check pre-order to confirm. Yeah, not on pre-order anymore. Which brings us into our second set of products. Earlier in 2021, I pre-ordered these game mats, these 3 game mats, as well as this game mat, the Acid Lagoon. And unfortunately, the first 3 showed up and weren't necessarily the best quality. They suffered a lot of the same issues as the Icons of the Realms game mats. However, the Acid Lagoon just wasn't there. It had been pushed back, and it has been pushed back several times and still not delivered upon. And so now we're coming up on almost 2 years since that product has been up for pre-order, and still no delivery on that. So that is extremely frustrating. If you are somebody who likes to pre-order products to ensure that, especially if it goes out of print, you can get it. So yeah, that is one of the biggest reasons why is WizKids has essentially, taken our money and not delivered the product that we have paid for. And for a lot of the local game stores that we ordered these through, the time frame for refunds has long passed. So we are either forced to cancel our orders and, get either store credit, or we're not even able to cancel our orders at this point and we have to wait it out. The second issue that I have with Warlock Tiles is the lack of availability on a lot of the core stock. If you go over to the Warlock Tiles website, we'll go right there again. These 5 core products here, they are on many websites out of stock. My local game store cannot order more of dungeon dressings, doors and archways, stairs and ladders. They just aren't available. Distributors don't have them. If your distributor does have them, a lot of places are charging a premium for being able to have them. And they are well above the MSRP on these products, which is very frustrating. So, and there's no word from WizKids, are these products out of print? Are they on back order? Like, what is the deal with these products? And I think that communication is very important if you want to keep people loyal to the Warlock Tile brand. Speaking of products, for those who've been following, you will notice that Warlock has nothing new coming out other than these wall connectors, which are very similar to Wade's wall connectors, which I reviewed earlier this year. They have nothing. They have no new sets coming out, which is a shame because there are a lot of sets that are basically make them and they will sell. They are just expansions on the existing sets. So let's go over here. I believe it's on the second page. Yes. So we do not have full height walls for curves and angles. We do not have full height walls for curves and angles 1 inch. And we don't have full height walls for 1 inch either. And that is something that a lot of Warlock Tile fans have been requesting for quite some time now. It's not like it's a product that nobody wants. And WizKids has not delivered it, as well as they haven't been announcing anything else to keep players interested in the meantime while we wait for sets. The last set that was announced was the Caverns, as well as its expansions, as well as Splunker's Docks. But those were announced over a year ago, and for most places have been out for more than a half a year now, and there is nothing. So it is really frustrating to want to be able to use Warlock Tiles, but there is virtually no new products for it, and the products we have only fit a small bit of the demand that players have for being able to build things. And this leads me into sets that WizKids could hop on in a minute, and they haven't either, other than expansions to their existing sets. So we're just going to take a quick break from fishing here, and we're going to teleport to Lumbridge. I love Lumbridge. So when you get to Lumbridge, one of the first things that you notice is that the top of the buildings is definitely, town and village. It's a regular town and village. However, these bottom ones look more like the dungeon tiles with the exception of windows. A dungeon tile set with windows. Come on, WizKids. That is a gimme. Do it, it will sell. Also, if we go to the church here, you may have saw it on some of the other things here, but the church is a really good example. Bricks on the outside, plaster on the inside. And then, of course, windows. And like being able to like, pop windows out and, change regular windows with stained glass windows. I think that that would be really, really cool. In the merchant set, we got a priest. Well, why haven't we gotten something for decorating churches? I think, proper pews, altars, organs would be a really cool thing to release in Warlock Tiles, and you could offer variants of clergy miniatures with it too. There is a lot that you can do with Warlock Tiles that's not being done. Let's take a small trip. So right here would be like Icons of the Realms, Tombs and Monuments, as well as Cemetery of the Forgotten from Pathfinder. But again, you can make a Warlock scatter terrain set for cemeteries. Let's go over to Alcarid here, and you can see that like sandstone walls, these would be great for Warlock Tiles if they released a sandstone set. They haven't done that. One thing that Warlock Tiles hasn't bothered to touch on is scatter terrain for plants and foliage. So cactuses, trees, shrubs, all of those we have to buy third party or craft ourselves. And that I think that having a set with foliage and plants would be a fantastic idea. Let's take a trip up to Taverly. Taverly, as you can see here at Taverly, a lot of log houses. I think Warlock Tiles that can be used to simulate log cabins would be a fantastic set. But again, nothing. Terrain like obelisks and giant stones for outside, more outdoor terrain. Once again, could do it, but they don't. And it is very, very frustrating when they don't. A lot of the 4D sets are available. So like if we came over here, we could set a lot of this up using 4D if we wanted. However, a lot of the 4D stuff is out of print and is being charged a premium. So either bring those back in stock or give us something in the Warlock brand. That would be fantastic. Everybody would love it. Let's make a trip to Varrock here. So Varrock, we got a nice little achievement there. Varrock, again, dungeon tiles, but with interchangeable windows. And damaged walls, like these for setting up ruins, and damaged buildings would be fantastic too. But again, Warlock does not do that. The Slayer Tower has floors. This character isn't a high enough level to go to the Slayer Tower, but there are floors that have gaps in the floors so that you can see down levels. And having, 2x2, 4x4 tiles that have gaps in them so that you can layer them would be great. If you wanted to build a two-tiered thing like this, so you would clip your floor to your walls, and we normally stack them, but they're not exactly the most sturdy. So having transparent H caps where the majority of the clip sits on the outside wall, and then the inside is two-pronged, and it just sits there and holds both of those between the clip, and it doesn't slide around. That would be fantastic. Warlock brands for roofs. Dungeons and Lasers has roofs. A lot of 3D printing things have roofs. I believe even Dwarven Forge has a couple roof sets. Again, they don't do anything like that. Castle walls. Being able to build castle walls and barracks. That is something that they should be able to bring to Warlock, and they don't. So these are just really, really basic sets that should have been givens in the fantasy genre that they don't do, and it is very disappointing. And this also leads me into my final point about why I am disillusioned with Warlock Tiles. They have shifted so far from the brand that it's not even really Warlock anymore. So when the brand came out, the tiles were designed so that they would clip together and you would be able to build sturdy structures that you could lift the whole structure, carry it around, slide it around the table, and it wouldn't fall apart. Easy Clips came out to make this a little easier. They now have the wall connectors for stability. Great. But here's the thing. I didn't mind when they did scatter terrain. More scatter terrain available to us that's on size with the tile scales, the better. I love scatter terrain. Even when they threw in miniatures, it felt a little off. But, you know, it's WizKids. They make miniatures and it was on brand for them. However, when Caverns came out, not only did Caverns not clip into the existing sets, so say you wanted to build a cave and then, you know, build brick rooms off of it to show that, you know, the cave has been inhabited, things live here now, you couldn't do that. And not only could you not clip it into the old sets, you couldn't clip it together, and the walls didn't clip to the floors either, and don't fit perfectly against the floors, so there is gaps. And it just doesn't look as good as, say, a cavern set from Dwarven Forge. It was something that could have been done a lot better, and it felt like it fell really short. And all of these factors combined has just made me really not love Warlock Tiles like I used to, and has made me want to reconsider what terrains I bring to the table for D&D and building my RuneScape setups. But, you know, some people may still love Warlock Tiles. So have my issues been something of an issue that you have experienced, or are they something you're turning a blind eye to? Pretty soon I have some quests coming out for the RuneScape series that I have been working on, as well as I do plan to eventually build some of the settings that are in RuneScape and show you how to play them in Dungeons & Dragons. I have been converting a lot of the NPCs and monsters in this game into stat blocks for playability in 5e Dungeons & Dragons, as well as 1D&D in the future. So do stick around for all of that there. But in the meantime, leave your comments down below. If you feel I deserved it, please leave a like and consider subscribing. And in the meantime, cheers, and may the rolls be with you.